Hello, hola, bienvenidos. Welcome back. As you guys can see from the title, today we're doing my next update. I believe is update number 4 of Pan That Face palette, you guys. Woo! It's a good day to have a good day. So I am very excited to update you guys on this. This is gonna be a little bit longer update than normal, but you might want to stick around and see why. So I have my two palettes here. I have my Too Faced Love Flush and my It Cosmetics, you guys love how I say this, Je sais me quoi palette. This is both of my palettes for this year. I'm going to update you guys on it, but obviously first, if you're new, bienvenidos. Alejandra, I go by Alex. I'm an eyeshadow enthusiast with a Dutch Project Pan. If you want to continue to see that content on your feed, subscribe and join us. And now let's get on with this update. Okie dokie. If you haven't seen Monday's video, I would suggest you do that for a little kind of update on other things that have been going on. At least one thing of the thousands of things that have been going on behind the scenes. It's very exciting. It is exciting to me. I don't know about you guys, but I just wanted to update you guys so you're not shocked when you see future videos going on. So anyway, let's get into the update that we have today. We're going to start off with the Too Faced Love Flush palette. All right, so we wanted to hit pan on How Deep Is Your Love, you guys. It takes me a lot to not sing that song from the Bee Gees. Okay, so anyway, so that's the one that I wanted to at least hit pan on, at least the goal of hitting pan on it. I'll show you the update of where it was last month. I had a really nice dip in there. I was thinning it out evenly. Nothing where one angle was more than the other. I was actually doing rather well with this one. Very pigmented, but it was a beautiful, beautiful blush. And as you guys can see now, dun, 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 we have finished this palette. Oh my goodness, you guys, this has been about 2 years in the making. We did it. I finished this palette. Holy cow. I did not expect to finish this blush off completely, but I am very, very excited that it happened. I did not realize how thin the product was in my last update that I shared this with you guys. About 2 to 3 days into updating you guys and then starting to use the palette, I hit pan on it. And then after that, because I had told you guys that I thinned it out evenly, it went rather quickly. I think I took a picture. No, I didn't repress it. I didn't get a chance to repress it. What had happened was the majority of the center was used and I had these little corners right here. And then I just crumbled them up and did a little paste. And that took me like 2 days to use up, you guys. I am so proud of myself. I was expecting to be done this in June's update, not May's update. Whew, so I'm a month ahead, you guys. Wow. I am very excited. So when I started, I had these two and I believe these two to go, and I ended up finishing them up in about 6 months worth. That to me is very exciting, you guys. I will clean this up. I'm going to show you guys a compilation of the whole entire palette from start to finish. I think I kept all the photos of it for the last 2 years, so that way you guys can see how I started, where I started, and now where I ended. I'll clean this up for you guys, but I'm so excited. I loved every bit of it, you guys. I did not hate this palette at all. It didn't bother me. The formula wasn't bad for me. Yes, it was getting a little bit more powdery towards the end, but it never broke me out. It never did anything. I love the color variety of it, like everything about it. So far, I've panned two Too Faced palettes in this series. And I gotta tell you, both times that I've done it, I've never hated or gotten to a point where I did not want to use the palette anymore. So that says a lot about my Too Faced ones, because till the end, I still enjoyed every single bit of it. So now I can retire this. I'm kind of sad though. Like this seems to be like a nostalgia palette, like one of those kind of things. Like, yeah, It's gone. It's gone. All right, let's update you guys on this palette before we get into what is replacing the Too Faced palette, because that's a whole nother section of the video. So here is the It Cosmetics Je sais ne quoi. Now, last update I had finished the powder. I explained you guys how I ended up using it. I had hit major pan on the highlighter, and the other two products were just sitting there. So I will show you the pictures of where I was, you guys, where I was. And as you guys can see now, this is a hot mess. Don't mind it. I don't feel like cleaning my palettes when I show you guys. It is what it is. I'll clean it up at the end when I do my photos. But you guys, we finished off the highlighter. That just finished off about this week here. Yeah, like it's like residue left over in here. But other than that, it is done. It is done. I ended up repressing it because it got to the edges up here and here and I couldn't get my brush around it. So I believe I did take photos of me repressing it before and after so you guys can see. And then because I repressed it, it went rather quickly. So it wasn't something where it took very long to use. So we're done the highlighter, we are done the powder. Two products that I didn't expect to get done as quickly, and I was expecting to at least hit pan on this. You guys can see that there is a little pan right there. It is because I've been using this area right here. Oh, I'm not even pointing right there. I've been using this area right here to buff out my lower lash line. Anytime I do anything on my lower lash line that is shimmery, sparkly, metallic, I'll use this bronzer to kind of diffuse it out there like I am wearing today. So that's why I kind of hit pan right there because it is a pencil brush that I've been using. But I technically haven't hit pan using it on my face. I will say in photos, you might be able to see it. Here on this side, it is rather thin. You can see a lot of the side pan right there. Can you see that? I don't know. I'm not so great at, there you go. See that? And maybe through there. But on this side, it doesn't look that much used. So I'm still working on it. I started to use this blush, and this blush is very powdery and I can already feel a dip in here. So I don't see myself taking very long to use this blush up, but my problem is I don't like the color on me. I don't like it. I don't like it. It is white based, so it doesn't look right on me. See that? It's white based. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So I am wearing it today, but I have been mixing it. So if I have a blush that is rolling into a different project pan, I will just go ahead and mix it with it. If I do not, I'm gonna have to find something to mix it with. I do not like this blush at all on me whatsoever. It is a pink blush and I am not someone who uses pink blushes often, and if I do, it won't be something like this. If I would have known, or got used to this palette or got more use out of this palette, I think I would have decluttered this palette. One, because of the powder. Two, because of the blush. I would have liked it for the highlighter and bronzer, but these top two, not a fan. Not a fan at all. I will use it because it'll be easy to use, and I have found a way to use it by mixing it with other blushes, which is allowing me to rotate through more of my blushes. So today I am using it with the blush from my whole collection project pan that got rolled in. So I'm mixing them too, and it looks nice on my cheeks, but I don't like this on its own. It's ugly. Sorry. All you pink lovers out there, is ugly. I don't like pink blushes much, and especially not this kind of pink blush. I have pink blushes that I enjoy, but I reach for more of a peachy, apricot, orangey, terracotta type of blush. That's like my jam all year round, and this, not gonna be a fan of it during the next few months, but it's okay enough to, because it mixes well with other blushes, that I'm just gonna ride with it. We're gonna ride with it during the summer. I'm gonna see how long it takes me to use this one, but my goal is to use this up. So in the future, my goals for this one is to still try to hit pan on this blush. I mean bronzer. I am wearing it today. Back to being the only bronzer I am using. So I didn't use this bronzer for about 2 weeks straight. You guys, if you see my previous project pans of last week, you know why. But I'm back to using it, and hopefully I will hit an actual pan using it as a bronzer. And then my goal is to at least get a bigger dip, if not hit a very small pan in this. I don't see myself having an issue finishing this up because it is very powdery. But this is where we stand with this one, you guys. We might have a second face palette done this year. I already have one. We might have a second one, which means I might have to consider a different palette. Holy moly. So that's very exciting. But for now, we're still in it. I think around like September is where I might see that happening. But for now, we're still working on this one. Alrighty, you guys. So last year, around the end of the year, I had pulled out a bunch of face palette that I was considering panning for the future, maybe as a replacement palette. And I tallied up all of your votes. I let you guys vote which one should be, and it was actually rather interesting. But I have my top 3 that are going to replacing this one. I chose one of these top 3 to use in this replacement in this year's project pan. I had another idea, but I think I'm going to save that for next year because I feel like I should choose something you guys allowed me to, or I made that video for the purposes of this reason, and I'm not going to switch it up halfway through the year just because I feel like switching it up. So I will keep my idea for next year. So you'll see what I do for next year that's going to be completely different, but it's still face palette related. You know what I mean. So let's get into the top three choices you guys chose, and then I'll let you guys know which one will be the one I will be panning going forward. Okay. So I'm going to go in order of the highest voting all the way to the least amount of voting. So my the one that got voted the most out of all the palettes was this one, which is the Too Faced A Butter Collection with Weili Hung. I don't know how to say her last name. I'm sorry. This is what the palette looked like right here. I mean, it had close to 30 different votes on here. I can't remember the exact, maybe 30, 40 different votes on this. I know I still have the plastic on here. Now I'm not going to choose this palette, and my reasoning behind it is because it's way too similar to this. This has a bronzer, this has a highlight, and this has a blushes. So it's 2 bronzers, or 1 bronzer, 3, no, it actually does have 2 bronzers. So 2 bronzers, 2 blushes, and 2 highlighters. Can you tell? I didn't even really look at this. So it was way too close for this. And my thing every year is I choose one face palette that has everything in it. Bronzer, blush, and highlighter if I possibly can, or at least 2 different products. And then one solely that is highlighter, one solely that is blush. I alternate each year. This year was the blush palette year. So that's why I chose one that was all blush and one that had a little bit of everything. This one is too similar for this. I'll have 2 bronzers competing. I'll have blushes that are competing. It'll be just too much. And if I didn't finish a highlighter, I would have had highlighters that are competing. So I like to choose one of these and one of the other. But because I already have a palette like this still in this project pan, I will not be choosing this one, even though this one had the highest votes. Up next was this one. This was the second one. This was the one that had the second highest votes. This is the Tarte Off the Cuff. This is my oldest palette like this that Tarte, this was back in like 2014, the first time they ever released any of this. It had a sheet with the names on it. I wrote the names at the bottom because I got tired of keeping the sheet. This comes with 4 blushes and a bronzer. So this was the second one, the second highest voting one, and one of the contenders that I really wanted to use. Tarte is a very difficult formula to pan, but because this is now going on like 8 years old, around there, I feel like because I've tested all of these, well, with the exception of this one because this was rather new, but I tested the other 2 to see if I still wanted them, if they weren't going to break me out or anything, and they were fine. This one has become a little bit more powdery and not as densely packed, so I see myself having hope with this one, but this one was the second vote, highest vote. And I wouldn't mind this one because it is an all blush and it's kind of replacing this one almost, with the exception of the bronzer in here. So this is the second highest one. Last but not least was this one, the Kathleen Lights and Makeup Geek collection with the 3 huge highlighters. It's sad to say that now Makeup Geek is no longer in existence. Whatever they have left is what they have left on their website, and that is it. But a lot of you guys chose this without even knowing it. This is one of my oldest highlighting palettes, face highlighting palettes that I do own. The reason why this one was a contender for me because it was getting older. I wanted to see if maybe I could throw this in, see what you guys thought. I don't know if I could hit pan on these because these are rather big, so who knows. So here are my three options, you guys. I've already mentioned you guys why I'm not choosing this one, so we have these two left. If you have been hearing anything I've been saying, especially in this video because I already said it, I like to alternate my years. 1 year concentrating on blushes, 1 year concentrating on highlighters. You're wondering why I do that. I do that because it also allows me to alternate my single highlighters and blushes. So for instance, this year is the blush year. So that means all of my single highlighters I'm taking advantage of and trying to hit pan on some of them, trying to get more use out of them. And then next year, when it is the highlighting year, I try to take advantage of my single blushes and try to hit pan on them, try to get more use out of them. That way I am not neglecting my singles when it comes to face products because I'm using face palettes here. So I am mixing a single blush with this blush in here. I'm trying to find ways to get use out of my whole entire collection without neglecting anything along the way as best as I possibly can. And you guys see that in my project pans. So with me saying that, I've already said this is blush year. So this is why I'm not choosing this one because this is all highlighting. I may consider this one for next year because next year it is the highlighting year. We will see. It is in the back of my mind because this was the third highest voted palette. So I know you guys would want to see me pan this and I wouldn't mind it because it is only 3 shadows. Or 3 colors. So this is what is replacing my Too Faced palette. This is the Tarte Off the Cuff. This is where we stand with it now. I will obviously take photos of it. You can clearly see that all of them have the imprint in them. The one that looks the most used is the bronzer. I am not going to concentrate on the bronzer at all until I am somewhere near done the one in here. My goal is to try to completely finish that bronzer off, and it is making me frustrated and annoyed that I still haven't done that. So I'm not going to touch this bronzer unless I'm using it as a blush. My goal is just to play around with these blushes. Now, when I do this, just in case you're new, I've done this now for the last 2 years. When I bring in a replacement face palette, I am not going hard on it. I'm just trying to prepare now this palette for a future face palette where I really am going to concentrate and finish this off. Right now, I just want to get use out of it, get usage, get it loved, get it, all up in there and used and shown. And so when I am ready to completely commit and pan the whole palette, I'm not starting from scratch. I'm not starting brand new. So for now, because now that I don't like the blush in here and I have been using a single blush, I'm going to incorporate these blushes in with that one. And I love it because I have Darling, which is an orangey one. This Crave is a pinky orange bright shade. It's just perfect for the summer. So I'm going to be blunt and honest with you. I have a feeling that these two are going to be my up front and center for the next few months because these are what I love to wear in the summer, these shades. I love to wear it all year round, but if I'm going to be specific, these are the two that I'm going to love. These two would be like fall and winter shades for me. So I'm going to concentrate on Crave and Darling more because of the color in here. Not necessarily because I don't want to use these. It's the color that is driving me crazy in that palette. So I'm going to go for these two and see where I go. Maybe wear off the pattern. Maybe just try to get more use out of it. I am not giving myself any set goals on this palette, at least not yet, because first of all, I really concentrated on this one. I want to give myself a little bit of a break and just play. This is where I throw all that in. Play, relax a little bit. I'm not so much into having to force myself to finish everything in here. I'm concentrating more on this one to be completely done. Once that one is done, if it gets done by this year, then I will get more involved in this palette. But for right now, I'm playing, I'm enjoying it. Summer's around the corner, and this is the perfect time that this happened because I use less makeup. I have less makeup days because I'm at the beach. I'm at some sort of body of water, so I don't wear makeup as often. So this is giving me, not that it gives me anxiety, but I'm chill. I don't feel bad if I don't get a lot of use out of this one in the next few months, just because I'm chilling. I'm enjoying this process. This is where it's fun for me. That's why I continue to do this Project Pan, because I just want to relax, enjoy it. I get to a point where I can just chill and relax. So hopefully by the end of the year, this will have a little bit more usage where it'll allow me to bring it in for a year and finish it off. All right, you guys. That is my update. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I love this. I was not expecting to finish 2 things here. I did well. I'm proud of myself. I did well. I am pretty good at committing myself to face palettes, especially if I am smart about my choices. And so far, this being my 3rd year, I've been really good at my choices where I've gotten at least 1 full palette done, maybe 2 each year, which is what I need to do considering I have over 100 palettes in my face category. So I don't mind it. I love face palettes. You guys can see I currently got a tan. And this is just barely a tan with sunblock. I just bought a new SPF. Look, I will show you guys. I have a tan going where my watch is because I've been wearing my watch. I had to take it off the other day. And this is me sitting under a tree with a chair that has an over thing, a baseball hat, and if I'm not sitting on the chair, I have a full golf umbrella. You guys, I've been staying away from the sun just because I don't want to get funky tan lines during these soccer games. And yesterday I came home from a soccer game and I already saw my tan lines. And this is me staying away from the sun, you guys, completely covering myself, and I still got a tan. So yeah. Luckily, I'm prepped for this because I already knew it. I warned you guys around the beginning of June is where I will start to get a tan, and sure enough, here I am. So this is going to work out great. Work out great for me now that I'm getting a little darker, which is exciting me that I can bring in new things that are going to work for my skin tone now that I'm getting a little darker. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll put my videos on the screen for your enjoyment. Until then, adios.